Well, hello and a very good morning, a very good afternoon, and a very good evening, ninthers. Take that good morning, evening, afternoon, based on the time in which you'll be watching the video. So I just gave it to you all. Take it. I'm hoping you all are doing well, doing fine, and also keeping safe if you all are venturing out, which I am hoping many of you all are doing. So please stay safe and please follow all the necessary precautions. As in, you all must be hearing नमस्कार अनलॉक की प्रक्रिया पूरे देश में शुरू हो चुकी है इसीलिए घर से तभी बाहर निकले आई मीन सो you all are hearing this most of the times while you all are talking to anyone or calling someone up on the phone. So please take all the necessary precautions and listen to whatever that lady says. Now, coming to our topic, which we were just left with the effects of the earthquake. I hope that earthquake, all the points were clear to all of you. Why earthquakes are caused. I also hope that the faulting, folding, and the plate tectonics, that is one of the most important part of history. And if you understand, sorry, of geography. I'm sorry, I was just making a history video, history video too. So I just got confused. So it is plate tectonics is one of the most important and one of the most fundamental parts of geography. So if you did understand that, most of the other topics and many other concepts of geography will be clear to all of you later on also, and you'll be thanking me later. So when we are talking about the devastating effects or the effects of the earthquakes, the most important, most common is that there is loss of life and property. If the epicenter of an earthquake is far away from residential areas, then well, it may not cause that much amount of loss to life and property, but most or if the vibrations are traveling to those areas which are highly or densely populated, or if the epicenter is located in a or nearby a densely populated area, then there is immense loss of life and property. There is so much damage. People are killed. People do not get enough time to come out of their houses, and even if they do so, the cities and towns of India and most other countries are nearly unplanned. So they do not get enough open space to run away or to take shelter, and many people do get trapped under buildings and the debris of the falling buildings, and many people lose their lives. Not only people, there are so many animals who lose their lives. There is the government keeps account of the number of people dying or losing their lives, but no one keeps account of the animals who lose their lives. So there is a very huge amount of destruction of life, both animal life and also human life. Now there is also a lot of damage which is done to property and also to buildings. Many of the in the Kathmandu earthquake or in the Nepal earthquake which happened, so many important and historic and heritage buildings of Kathmandu, the capital of Nepal, got destroyed completely. So these kinds of things also happen. There is a loss of land, there is loss of property, buildings fall down, so many monuments, heritages, they crumble down. So there is immense and a huge loss of life and property. Some of the things which may happen is that there is devastating fires. Now fires may occur due to there are gas lines or natural gas pipelines which are there underground in many cities, many countries. So due to an earthquake, those underground lines get ruptured, and the natural gas which comes out, there are or due to some spark or a small spark, those natural gases and the gas which is coming out gets ignited, and there is huge fires also during earthquakes. Not only that, in domestic or in houses also, domestic places, in normal houses, what happens is that there are lots of flammable items. So those flammable items or due to some short circuit in the electrical supply or in the electrical circuit, fires take place when there is an earthquake. So earthquake causes lots of fires, also devastating fires. Now there are landslides. If an earthquake is happening in a mountainous region, then due to the shaking of the land, the mountains or the land which is there in the mountains, and mostly as deforestation is rampant in most of the areas of the world, the trees and the grass cover which is holding the land together is no more there. So the land already is loose, and when there is or when the land shakes due to earthquake, what happens is that entire blocks or chunks of land, they fall down, and there is landslides which happen. So landslides also happen due to earthquakes. Then there is flash floods. What does happen is that when there is earthquake in an area where there are big dams, so the vibration from the earthquake, if the earthquake's magnitude is very much, then what happens is that the vibration may cause the breakage of the dams or the walls of the dams, which causes the water which is there stored in the dam's reservoir to flow out suddenly and all of it together. That causes huge floods in the downstream areas of the river, and that causes floods. Other reasons also which may cause flood is that due to the earth shaking and due to the reshift, or due to the earth, or due to the land getting shifted, land shifting, or the land coming up and down, there is a very big chance that the rivers or the course of the river may get altered. If the river is flowing on the land, and if that land comes due to an earthquake, if that land is pushed upwards, what happens is that the river will not be flowing through this land anymore, because the river is flowing, or river will always find a lower land or the lower ground or lower height to flow. So the river changes its direction and the course, and people who are living in all those areas, they come under the river water, and those areas are flooded. All these reasons, or all these floods, also again cause loss of life and property of both animal life and also of human life. Next, if there is an undersea earthquake, then what happens is that due to, I had explained this, if there is an undersea earthquake and if the seabed is restructuring itself, then what happens is that due to this restructuring of the seabed, lots and lots of, or huge volumes, millions of liters of water gets displaced from its area or from its place, and that results in the water flowing towards all the directions from that center of that earthquake. So the water moves towards all the directions, and as it approaches the harbor, what happens is that though the water is now no more able to flow all together, because near the harbor the depth of the water keeps on reducing. So as the depth keeps on reducing, the water keeps on increasing in height, and we get huge waves. These are called tsunamis or harbor waves. Tsunami is a Japanese term, as I had already told, and that Japanese term, it is derived from two words, su meaning harbor and nami is waves. So tsunami, in the book it is given destructive harbor waves. Please remove that destructive part. Tsunami does not mean destructive. There is no Japanese word over here, su and nami, that means destructive. Su is standing for harbor and nami is waves. So tsunami waves also cause huge amounts of damage to the areas which are lying around the seashore. We did face one such tsunami in 2004, and millions of people lost their lives due to an earthquake which happened in the, or near Indonesia, and so many lives were lost in Indonesia, in Malaysia, in Singapore, in India, in Sri Lanka, and the waves also reached as far as South Africa. So you can understand how powerful tsunami waves can be. Next, deformation of the ground surface. At times, as I said, due to restructuring of the land, the ground surface or the surface of the land may get deformed, or the physiography or the terrain, that is the surface of the land, may get changed permanently. A few constructive effects of earthquakes. I mean, we cannot see any such constructive effects, but at times, constructive effect as in earthquakes can at times lead to volcanoes, and due to the volcanoes, newer crust can be formed. I have explained this in the previous video lecture while I was talking how newer crust is formed. Then, earthquakes can also cause, due to the earthquakes, again, the underground lava may come upwards, and that may cause the underground water surface to come in contact with the hot lava or the hot rocks, and geysers and natural hot springs may be formed. So these are very minor effects or minor good points, which that crust, formation of newer crust is an important one, but these geysers and the hot water springs are not that very important points or important effects of earthquake. Earthquakes are actually associated with devastation and loss of life and property. So this was all about the chapter on earthquakes, and we'll be in the next video lecture, we'll be moving on to weathering. And if you all did pay attention in 7th standard, 8th standard, lot of the parts of weathering were already done. So we'll be doing weathering all together and all over again. Till then, please stay safe, be safe, and be happy. Thank you.